So, okay, today we start with the 8 of 10 Mahavidyas. So we are moving forward now to the end, coming to Baglamukhi, which is the power of speech, which is another one of those great powers that originate within the unmanifest, no? Within the self, and which are very essential in the whole creation of the universe, and at the same time also are essential if we want to ourselves move back towards the self, move back towards the unmanifest. Then this is one of the powers that we can use. So you see here a goddess, quite fierce one also, who is holding a demon by the tongue, which is a very particular symbolism of her power to silence the demon, to silence his talk, which is coming from his tongue. And she is also holding a club with which she literally then breaks his skull, which signifies that she is destroying his thinking. And so that is this power of the word, the power of speech, which is different from the power of sound that was represented by Tara, where we were more talking about the soundless sound of creation, which then, could be symbolized by Om and leads also to so many mantras, which also, of course, have a huge power that we can use, you remember maybe, to stabilize our emotions, to make us more calm and more happy, and avoid any unnecessary unpleasantness inside of us. So here we are using, you could say, the same power of sound, but in terms of speech, in terms of actual words, with which we oppose any force that opposes us. And in the yantra, you also see the similar symbolism. Also added there is the alternate nostril breathing, which Peter Weltevrede very much wanted to add there, because to stop speech, or to use speech to stop speech, is not only about any forces outside of you who are opposing you, but also very much whatever happens inside of you. And then so to stop the inner dialogue, also there Baglamukhi is a force to be reckoned with. She is really considered as very, very powerful, and symbolized also by the color yellow, which we find also, for example, in Jupiter, which is the planet also related to knowledge. So, Baglamukhi, how to say, whatever we do, always some opposition it comes. This is quite natural. Whether, you start a restaurant or whatever endeavor you start, some opposition will come. And so also as a sadhak, as somebody who is doing sadhana, as somebody who's working on his own spiritual growth, some opposition will come and will need to be dealt with, or it might make our sadhana more difficult, and rob us of the freedom also to do this sadhana. So then we need to be able to counter that, and there Baglamukhi is the one. But it's definitely not only the opposing forces outside of us. These same forces in a way are also inside of us in terms of negative thinking, and in a way one triggers the other. We are continuously actually fighting negativity outside and inside. No? And so there obviously the best way to stop this game is to stop thinking. No? Whatever happens outside, we are limited in what we can do, but inside we are quite free to stop that talk. No? And then from that pure being, that thoughtless pure being, we can move towards a more positive thinking and bring more truth in our thoughts, and then also, of course, in our speech towards others. And in that way, we can, move from adharm to dharma, which means from disharmony to harmony. So that again, we get a peaceful situation, both inside of us and outside of us. If outside of us things happen which disturb us, then inside we are disturbed, and how to meditate? So, okay, we deal with the outside, we deal with the inside both, so that we can be in harmony. And there, maybe the word sudharm also I have to highlight, because harmony, dharma, also translated as righteousness, is not the same for everybody. Sudharm then means your personal dharma, whatever it is that you have to do, depending on the roles that you are playing, whether you are a teacher or a father or a mother or a son, or whichever role. So there you can be in harmony with everybody else by doing your job, by doing what you are supposed to do. So this is the very basic technique, you could say, that Baglamukhi offers: the power to stop wrong speech, whether inside or outside, and the power of truth, which brings back harmony, and where also repetition is a main thing when it comes to truth. Anyhow, also negative thinking or untruth will try to force itself upon us by constant repetition. A person who is in anger, a person who is in fear, these thoughts also, they will come back and come back and come back and come back, and somehow in that way try to attain more power. So in a similar way, we always have to repeat the same things. And if we look at most teachers, and definitely also in Advaita Vedanta, when we look at Ramana, Nisargadatta, many of these teachers, they are always repeating the same story, from a little bit different angle maybe, but always they come to the same conclusion. And in that way, we slowly can accept that truth. And so the power of truth, the power, you can say, of words, because here we're talking about the truth which is expressed as words, is a huge power. So the power of words is not to be underestimated, and Vedic science sees this power also as a kind of energy, or you could say of electricity, of prana, like a form of prana. Like already we have seen Chinnamasta with lightning, the Kundalini energy, which is also a form of prana. We have seen Tripura Bhairavi, which is the fire element, which is also a form of prana. And so here, the form of prana we really are working with is called Tejas. We talked in an earlier class a lot about Ojas, which is like a very condensed storehouse of pranic energy. Tejas, you could say, is an intermediate form. It creates light, and so with this light we see. And that is a very important thing when we talk about truth. Most people, they will try to find truth or try to prove something to be true by reasoning. But this is actually just mind, playing a game. And with reasoning, anything can be proven right. With reasoning, we always encounter, you could say, the two-edged sword of the mind. It can cut either way. You can prove whatever you want. You can prove, let's say, that nature is important. Or you can prove that economy is important. Or you can prove that health is important, like nowadays is seen as very important. No? These things all, they can be proven. But the main thing is only there what you see, which means what you feel. No? And then the seeing is the expression of that feeling in then, okay, whatever words come to your mind or whatever words come out of your mouth. So truth is found by seeing it. And then we see that plants and animals are important. And then we see, okay, health also some importance is there, you know. And then we see that economy, yeah, is part of the game, you know. So that is a different way of knowing the truth. And so this color of Tejas also is yellow. So this very much belongs here to Baglamukhi. It is an expression you could also say of intellect, you know. Intellect here, that word has a little bit different meaning than the word buddhi in Sanskrit, even though buddhi is usually translated as intellect. But here when we talk about intellect, we mostly talk about a person's capacity to reason, while intellect there is seen as buddhi, as seeing. You know? So it is a very different thing, and always negative intellect, you know, used for selfish purposes, you could say, uses this faculty of reasoning because it knows it can fool anybody with that. If it's clever, you know, if it's, you know, well done, then anything can be proven, as I said. So we counter that not by reasoning also. It can be part of it, of course, it's a natural part of thinking and speaking, but always including first the silence, from which comes the seeing, and which leads us straight to the essence of the story. And from there then, okay, maybe using also some reasoning, we can easily prove the point of truth. So this is the power of positive intellect with which we can, let's say, turn around anything. We can convert a speaker into a mute. We can convert a king into a beggar. We can convert a vice into virtue. You know? This power of the word in ancient scripture is said to be able, for example, also to stop storms. Actually, one of the stories about Baglamukhi, about how she manifested, is that there was a big storm threatening the whole universe, and then, okay, somebody asked Parvati, no, or Shakti, you can say, for help, and she manifested as Baglamukhi, and then used her power of the word to stop that storm. No? Baglamukhi, Mukhi means mouth, or opening, but in this case it means mouth. And Bagla means power of, and especially power of stopping something. So even like in healing, Baglamukhi mantras are used to stop blood flow, for example. If a person is bleeding excessively, then certain mantras associated with Baglamukhi are used for that, you know. Maybe you have heard this expression that if you tell a mountain to move, it will move, you know. So that is what is at stake here, you know, the power of the word, you know. It has a particular energetic quality which has a power, you know. And so it is used in many, many ways. This is called stambhana. Stambhana means to stop something. So maybe it is also to stop a flood, or to stop a destructive relationship, for example. It can be used in many, many ways, and it brings actually forward a main way in which to deal with any problem. Whatever problem you have, first you stop it. And actually, in most yoga practices, that is what we are doing also. In pranayama, we stop breath. In asana, we stop movement. In dhyana, in meditation, we stop mind. We stop thinking. In samadhi, even, we go beyond that, stopping even wanting to stop, stopping ourselves totally. Samadhi, everything becomes one. So that is very central here. If we want to change something, if we want to change some kind of movement, then we first have to stop it, and then only we can turn it into its opposite or make it move in the opposite direction. Like I used to do quite a lot of Aikido, and there also this is the basic technique. An opponent comes to you having a certain movement, you block that movement, and then you let the energy of it go in another direction. That is very, very essential what you are doing there. And so that is this power. And to make this maybe a little bit more concrete, if you are discussing with somebody whom you feel is using the faculty of reasoning in a negative way, trying to get his way, playing some kind of game, which happens often enough, then the way to do this is to always go to the I am question. That is how you stop it. And then from the I am question, you can make it move in a different direction. You don't attack the story, but you take it in the hand, like Baglamukhi is taking the tongue of the demon. You take it in the hand and you ask the I am question. Who is this I am who is saying this? That is the question. And if you can answer that question, then very easily you can turn it around. Because when a person is using negative intellect, then always the I am will be disguised. Or at least very often it will be disguised. And the me will be disguised as us. A person doing something wrong is always going to tell that they are doing this for other people. I'm doing it for you. That is why I'm doing it, Well, actually they're doing it for themselves. So if we can find that who is this, that this story is for, then we can unmask the ego and clearly show that this is why such an argument is being made, and show that then this has nothing to do with us, nothing to do with the union, that is yoga, nothing to do with the community, but only with that person. But okay, we don't want to lose that person in the game. So first of all, we should always be very truthful when we do something like that. Like, generally speaking, when we fight, this is a kind of a fight, you can say on the level of the intellect, we use non-violence, and we use truth, sat and ahimsa, like Mahatma Gandhi was doing. So also here in same way, we are counter-attacking, yes, okay, but non-violently means we are only attacking some kind of wrong behavior or some kind of wrong story to explain that behavior. We are not attacking the person doing it. We are not saying you are bad. We are only saying what you are doing is bad, or what you are proposing to do is bad, or what you did and are now trying to explain is bad. But we don't attack the one doing it, because, well, we know anyhow the guy is innocent, and we all make mistakes, and so we should never call people names, because that would make them into demons, bad people, which they are not. They're trying like we all do. So by doing that, we can actually then also win the heart of that person, and not lose him. If we're going to attack the person himself, then we're going to lose him, and then it's just going to be a fight, quite endless. But we want to get him on our side, So we don't do that, but we attack the behavior, we attack that story, and find the I am. And then in most cases, we'll easily be able to demonstrate that what is disguised as something which is being done for others is actually a selfish thing. And then we can also move it one step further and then ask the question, okay, how can this be done so that you are benefiting, but also others are benefiting, so that the us comes into play. And that way win the argument. We have to accept that we all have egos. We have to accept that we all have needs or attachments or desires. There's nothing wrong with that. We just have to learn to be clear about these things and be truthful. Negative intellect wants to create some kind of fog around it. We just have to be clear. And some people actually, even when they are explaining some wrongdoing, they are clear about it. They just may say, okay, I took your money, I'm selfish. They only usually say that when they got caught. Otherwise they might still try to disguise it. But when then we come to the point where it is clear, where they are honest about it, then the story of positive intellect, negative intellect is gone, and then we can try to move it even a little bit further. Again, going into the I am question, which then may lead to asking, okay, you now want this and you feel this is important to you, but what is it that you really want? Like, it's one of the most beautiful things to ask a person, I feel, is to ask, okay, what do you like the most in life? And very few people will not answer by explaining something about us. Very few people will start talking about the thing they love the most being something which is totally selfish. They will mostly talk about having a cup of coffee together in the morning, or something like that, something to do with us. So there also we can a little bit work on the story, let's say, so that they also see, okay, I was thinking to do this for me and making a story about it, but actually maybe I can better do something else for me, but in the us kind of thinking. I don't know, I'm being very clear about this now. But anyway, main thing is, if there is an opposing force like that, then you ask the I am question. Try to find out, what is behind this story. That'll easily take the power out of it. And then, you bring forward the us, the community, the group, the family, the group of friends, or whichever, this is about. And put that in the middle, and then again see what is the answer in the story to that question. And so then the same thing really applies when we find negative thinking in our own mind. Quite exactly the same applies. We stop, we ask the I am question, and then, okay, we change the story into a more positive way, into more positive thinking, more close to the truth. So, and then, of course, this stopping is done more easily than with an opponent, let's say. I mean, if you can stop your mind. But okay, most of you, I think, you can do that, at least for very short time, no? And then, okay, you ask who is the one wanting this? Who is the one thinking this? Who is the one, going in that direction? And then you will find this ego, the poor me ego, probably saying, "Oh, but I so very much want it," no? Or I so very much fear to think in a different way. Or I so very much feel angry and I need to satisfy that, so I'm, coming up with a big story about it. And then, okay, peace comes, no? To ask the I am question, peace comes because, okay, then, the ego can be recognized, can be accepted, but can also be maybe brought to a little different level, no? And think more positive way, whichever, that is, But so the main thing to learn here is first stop, and then the truth will come out, in the I am, which we can stimulate a little bit by asking that question. The I am question is really what Ramana calls vichara, self-study, which basically is the question, who am I? So then in encountering some negative intellect outside of us or inside of us, we basically also ask this question, from who is this coming? And who am I really? And who are we? We are one. Remember. So this then comes the different layers of who am I. The who am I as a personal individual, the ego with lots of background and luggage and things, and the pure I am of the self. And then also, the other egos around and the other individuals around, where then also the self is again present and where also the we then is present, or the us, the togetherness, the oneness is present. So that is what I mean by the I am question. Going into these different layers of it, then truth comes forward automatically.
Thank you.
Yeah, maybe I'm not saying it clear enough what I mean when I say that always an opposing force, it has to do with us, and the story is disguised, and in the story the ego is disguised as us, meaning that if somebody is opposing you, then always it is not right that you are doing this, or it is disturbing me that you are doing this. It's about us. It's about the relationship. It's about the community, how the community should function. Because if there's no community, then there's also no opposition possible. If two neighbors are fighting, that's, the community of that street they're talking about. And then one may be saying that, one shouldn't play loud music in the late night because the kids need to sleep, whatever. And then the other one is saying, life is already so much serious now with the coronavirus, at least in the evening after work I can play some loud music. they are having this argument, and this can go on forever, because they're both like taking these opposing views, and will defend it, and will defend that view from us. Like, we are the ones who are suffering from this coronavirus, who like to have some music. We are the ones who are having children who need to sleep. This is about us. But actually, it's not about us. No? It's about one person wanting to play loud music and another person really getting tired of those kids not being able to sleep. So that is what I mean, that always it is there, this guise of the ego. And so we bring it together, like, to the I am, as us, as universe, or as, neighbors, a street, a community, a local community. And then when we start talking from that, then we can find some solution. And probably in this case, the one who's playing the loud music, he is going to lose. But not if he stays in this I. He has to see it from the us point of view. Otherwise he'll keep fighting. They might go into totally senseless discussions like, oh, why don't you listen to music with the headphones on? And then the other one will say, why don't you put how do you call that? These things you put in your ear so you don't hear anything. Earplugs. No? Why don't you put earplugs in your children's ears? No, it can go on forever. Only when we come to us, then it changes. Well, and I also find it quite significant to see that this is one of the 10 main yogic powers. The power to stop any negative intellect, any opposing speech which is clearly, like disguised. It's very important. Too many people who are becoming spiritual, they're too nice, no? They too easily let others do, and they feel they just have to accept that in peace, and this is one of the 10 main yogic powers. Please defend yourself. Use your tejas, use your power, use your intellect, but use it in right way. Not by joining their kind of argumentation, but by asking the essential question. I'm probably a little bit like clouded in my judgment from the people that I often see in healing. And I would say that at least half of the people who are in some kind of mental problem, they are there because of other people. They are there because other people have used false arguments to push them down, to somehow or other oppress them. And from there, these people have problems with, unresolved anger issues, excessive uncertainty and fear, low self-esteem, all these things. Because they don't have that power to defend themselves. And that is quite natural if you're a kid and you're having, abusive parents or something. But if you are an adult, then you have to be able to stand up for yourself. And this is true for all my teachers. And there were quite many. All of them, they were very nice, very, you could say, soft-hearted. But if they felt the need to oppose some negative intellect, they would immediately, without any hesitation, do that, and use their full power of positive intellect to do that, and always come to the essence of whatever was going on. And if you then have a group of people organizing some kind of event around these teachers, like we did a lot for Harish Johari, for example, then always in this group also little things going on, little things happening. And to see how then Harish Johari would always like enter those discussions and immediately come to the essence of it and be able to take the root out of it. That was really quite amazing. But I cannot say that he was then very gentle, no? He was at that time, yes, gentle enough, but at the same time clear enough also. Pointing out where was the, you can say, egotistical argument, and where was the argument that is more in tune with the truth of yoga and the reason that we were all there, no? And the thing we all wanted to learn. So in that way, don't be defenseless, no? And use your own intellect, but always trying to find the essence and not get stuck in the arguments around it. Take the demon by the tongue so he can't talk anymore, stop him. And then destroy his thinking by going to the essence of the story. Yeah, we talked about that already before, no? That we need some kind of pride. We need to be strong. A yogi is a strong person, not a weak person, not a person who will let anything, run over him. Yeah, and especially knowing who you truly are, in the sense of being a work in progress which can do anything, given time and effort, can be anything, and not allowing anybody to limit you to something which is in their mind. And so in that way, be strong. Know who you are, not so much in whatever you can do, whatever you already have achieved, whatever is your talent, because all those things, they come and go, but know who you are as unlimited potential. Know who you are as totally equal to anybody else. And so you let nobody mess with that. That is your pride. That is your strength. That you can do anything. If you believe that, and if other people allow you to do that, then you can do anything and be anything. It's a God-given right as a human being to grow. And if you have that right, then you can grow anywhere, into anything. And that is what people who are oppressing other people always will try to do, will try to limit you. You are like this, you will never be something else. And that's where they put you down. And so that should never happen. Should never allow that. By anybody, not by your mother, not by your father, not by your teacher, not by anybody. And know how to stop it. And also stop inside first. And the person is talking, maybe you are also in your mind talking, bringing counter arguments. But actually, you should not be doing that. You should go to silence. You should feel that I am as unlimited potential and speak from that I am as unlimited potential. And claim that God-given right to grow, and not be limited by anybody else. I mean, you are quite right, no? This may be a little bit a different topic, but Western culture, wherever it is, because it's now everywhere, is totally focused on a feel-good culture. Have chocolate, you'll feel good. Watch TV, you'll feel good. All these things, just catering to our desire to be happy without any further thinking, no? And especially without pointing out that the easiest way to be happy is not to want anything, no? And so then, as you are saying it, then our life is more centered around the source, of pure being, and then we can be still enjoy whatever comes our way, but not be very dependent on it, no? And then she writes, this can perhaps impede growth, and yeah, of course, this does, no? So many people are unable to move forward because they are so much caught in this game of the senses, game of mind, this going for enjoyment rather than going for something which is very enjoyable but it requires restraint in a way, no? From all these senses and mind games. Basically, now when we're talking here about Baglamukhi and about talking truth, then obviously also the role of the teacher here comes in play, no? And truth is not always easy. Truth is not always comfortable. Truth is not always what people want to hear. And you are quite right that in yoga circles, too much flowery talk is there. Too much making it too easy for people is there. And I can name several subjects where very clearly it is there, and maybe the main subject is meditation. Okay, people come to yoga and they start with some asana, and then at some point they understand, okay, this is not just about the body, it's also about the mind, and I want to feel more calm, and I want to feel more happy, and I want to get closer to God or whatever, so I need to learn to meditate. But then to meditate, at some point, requires that people really concentrate and do a mental workout. Really, go for it with willpower. That is required, but hard, very frustrating. So there, many teachers, I'm sorry to say, yes, they are not telling the truth. They are just guiding people into some guided meditations which are very relaxing, as if that is only it. And very often also I see that when I talk about people in personal coaching, when we talk about their meditation, and they've come to a place where they've, discovered a way to be quite relaxed and maybe, not have much thought, maybe even be totally silent and be relaxed, maybe focusing on the breath or something. And then what they really want me to tell them is, wow, very good, that's it. Well, honestly, it's not. It is the first step, to become so relaxed that you can actually stop thinking and really start focusing on something. Whether it is a mantra, whether it is pure being, whether it is breath. But this is not a relaxed thing. This is willpower. This is yogic work. So that is one of those instances where I feel, okay, I can be compassionate, I can be, understanding the problem. I've faced it so long myself. But to still point out, if you want to go further, if you truly want the fruits of real meditation, the changes that it will bring in your personality, then now you need to use that power that you have to keep still, to focus your attention on something which will bring you further. This is one of those things, but of course there are many other subjects where the same is happening, and well, I don't mind as teachers that we need to somewhat cater to our students. That is also needed. No, we cannot make them fly. Well, let's try to make them jump. This is already something. So that way, we all have to do that and make people feel good also about what they are doing. But it should not become too soft. No, then it's just a feel good moment, marketing thing. It's like nowadays I'm very much involved with like installing my new TP tent for healing, and where I constantly have to see what is, the wellness aspect of it, which is not unimportant. Why not make people feel good with some nice lights and some soft cushions and things like that. But where is then the actual practice part? When we are going to do the fire rituals? Are we going to have very nice carpets? Then actually fire rituals are not possible. At least not if you want to keep those carpets intact. If you do fire rituals, always some sparks come out. So the material should sit on, you have to accept some holes are burned into it. So these are then the things that you need to think about as a teacher. And the main thing is the practice, not the comfort around it. But it's not a choice between one or the other. But yeah, we should keep it in balance. That is true. This is also an element of it. Many students also come with all kinds of spiritual ego games. Like, they're not properly actually taking care of themselves, but they have huge plans for others. Things like that. So I so much love Adyashanti when he calls this putting pearls on a pig. Or decorating a pig with pearls. Yeah, that's what people then often do. So, okay, some of it we can accept. It'll pass, It's always best if the student sees it for themselves without anybody telling them. So some things we also just let it happen. But some things, no. Then we have to step in and say, hey, that is not the truth. That is not really what you are doing. That is not really going to bring you anywhere. That is just a little blah blah, seeking a nice story for yourself. In that way, Harish Johari is definitely, and all my teachers, and definitely my current teacher in Nepal. Oh God, it's hard to please them, with what you are doing. It's not hard to please them. Actually, they are pleased just by themselves. That is not the point. But talking about practice, they will always push you further to do something more. And that is the truth that they are holding in front of you. We can always do something more. You are totally right, no? Whatever comes to us is our karma, and our karma originates within ourselves in the, subconscious, and is creating these kind of situations. But you said it very rightly. The question is, how are we dealing with it? And what I said before was, don't, let anybody mess with you. No? That person coming to you and trying to mess with you, okay, that is your karma. But what you do with it, that is still your freedom. And so don't allow it. Don't let anybody doubt your unmanifested nature, your potential, your ability to grow, your ability to learn, and don't let them put you down. No? And then, okay, your karma really will be changed. No? If somebody is coming to you trying to put you down, then the main thing you have to learn is to stop a person from doing that. That's why it is happening. No? And if you can stop a person from doing that, then the occurrence of such relationships, let's say, will also become less. Even though sometimes in life, some of these stories, we have to live them many times. No? When they are very essential karmic stories in this life, then the same thing will come back and back and back. And again and again and again, we have to respond in correct way for the karma to change. No? So then maybe we'll be 40 or 50, and then somehow it'll stop coming. That will be already exhausted. If we don't do it, if we don't learn it, it will, be even on our deathbed. Yeah, they will be annoying us. Yeah. Always see it as an opportunity to grow. No, don't take it personal. Don't make it personal. Play the ball, not the player. These things always then apply. No? See the lila, see the theater, and try to play a good role. No? Yeah. But when we are stopping a person who is opposing us in a way which is not correct, then we are also helping them. No? This should also be well understood. It doesn't help other people if we, let's say, from love or empathy or some kind of spiritual feeling, let them do wrong things, let them say wrong things. It doesn't help them at all, quite on the contrary. Whatever negative thing they are doing or saying is creating bad karma for them. So if we don't stop them, we actually allow that to happen. I see that very often, that like in a love relationship or maybe a child-parent relationship, that people say, yeah, well, but I don't want to hurt them, I don't want to, like go against them because I love them and I care for them. But honestly, that's not what caring is about. That's not what love is about. To allow another person to be, really in the wrong, clearly in the wrong. No, then you have to oppose them. Like we talked before, the teacher in his role towards the student also does not always, cater to their need to feel good about themselves. Sometimes can make them feel bad about themselves because, he has to counter whatever it is they are saying wrong or doing wrong. Whatever illusion they are chasing, he has to point it out to them, even if they don't like it. And that's real help. And for that, the teacher also creates a discomfort for himself, of course, having to do this little bit of, let's say, fighting. Is a little bit destroying his peace in a way. But he knows that this is love also. And this is helping, and this is being a teacher. So then in that way, it does not disturb his peace. Actually, it will strengthen it. Even though outwardly, it may seem like that.